Yo, what's going on, believers? Happy Friday. Have a special event today with Fed Chair Powell speaking at 9:05. So be tuning in to the S&P market and the dollar index market to kind of get a just perspective of how he influences price action typically, and see if I can find a potential setup. I am still bearish on the week, still looking for last week's low to be taken out. And, so as far as the economic calendar, this is what I'm talking about here at 9:05. He will be speaking, 3 stars. But prior to that, at 9 o'clock, we got some inflation-related news. And as far as the setup for today so far, so I really just want to see a couple of levels are going to be important for me in the dollar. So this 104.066 level is going to be important, as well as the 104.100 level, which is basically where this purple is. And then just anything higher than that, of course, up here, if it can start a rally, I don't want to see it stall too much at this high, or at least I don't want to see it reject lower from the high. It can get up here and consolidate. That'd be just fine for my bearish outlook for the indices. And so right now, the only thing holding S&P up are there's inefficiency here on a 5-minute. There's a lower one here, and I believe anything below these two is going to reach below this low here, and then ultimately I want to see it knock out these equal lows that left here, and even lower than that is last week's low, but may not be delivered today. But if it starts to head that direction, at least I feel really confident about it getting hit next week. So nothing to get excited about just yet. Still 2.5 minutes left in this candle before it closes. It could definitely tap into the lower one, reject higher, and still close inside of or above the higher one. So I have to wait for this candle to close. This candle also closes the hour, and so a new hourly candle will also open up just really focused on the right side, seeing the dollar index really just showing a lot of sensitivity at that 104.066 level. Off the open yesterday, it gapped above there on the open, dropped down, retested it, rallied above, consolidated at the top. It has since dropped back down inside, filled that gap. It did also run this low here, and then saw a nice reaction higher, taking out this high. So I would expect some sort of retracement into here. It has a couple of small little inefficiencies, one in here and then one lower down here. It may want to tap into there before that next push higher. So that'll be something to keep an eye on as well. I'll just draw one large one, like I said, one is small, so I don't want to give it too much credit, but I'll draw like this, draw it out to 930. So let's see if that has a similar reaction to how S&P is reacting to these inefficiencies. If dollar can respect this zone here and rally, taking out this high with Powell speaking, which will be in about 5 minutes, I would expect for a nice slide lower in S&P. Although it's seemingly establishing some sort of support here, I like that it's been bullish since London session. So once the midnight kind of consolidated, dropped down right to this inefficiency here, this was a 15-minute inefficiency, dropped down to the weekly opening price, rallied, took out the Asian highs, right? Then the London open, this is that range. Once it established a high, a retracement back to the middle, takes out the high here, finds some resistance, and then I want to see at the very minimum this low being taken out. But so now that is the inflation related news hitting the marketplace, and so like I said, nothing to get excited about. It could tap into that lower one and reject and close in or outside of this one. It did the latter, which was it ended up closing back above this range. So still, as far as the bodies of the candles are concerned, acting as support here, with additional support lent down here with this wick. So now there's less than 5 minutes before Powell speaks. Like I said, the same thing that's been happening over here. If the dollar can replicate that and push for a new high here, this should be an easy slam dunk move for about at least 15 to 16 points from where it is right now. So I'm actually going to now just focus over here. So let me get rid of this. This is no longer important. Let me copy those to 5-minute efficiencies over here and lock in on the 1 minute. Actually, no, let me drag these two. I'll drag them over here for now. Alright, and this is what we're working with. It's pretty much going to be between this layout and this layout, just to see what's going on over in the dollar. So let's see, is the dollar something to do with that? So okay, so dollar found support there. It did go and take a new high, but it didn't show any follow through. So that could be problematic. Also, this running down into this once again and rejecting could also be problematic. All of this is happening before Powell officially speaks as well. If you notice that the time for him speaking is 9:05, it's not even 9:05 yet. So the market is very excited for him to get to the microphone and say something. There's buy side here from yesterday's afternoon session. So it could tap into the buy side to use as counterparty for shorts and then see a savage drop lower, or it may just show a savage push higher, and especially with the dollar tanking through the zone as it is. Again, Powell has yet to speak yet. He doesn't officially start till 9:05. So the ES engaging this buy side from yesterday's afternoon session. There's also buy side from the lunch session yesterday available above. So less than a minute now. Then just to look at another perspective on the dollar. So other than that, the 15-minute inefficiency, there's also this hourly inefficiency here that I was wanting to see the reaction if it was able to get down here. So has dug into it just ahead of Powell speaking. Definitely would, for me, be an area in which it could then mount a rally, just at least challenging the highs. Doesn't necessarily have to go and create new highs, but if it gets up there and challenges the highs, then again, no doubt in my mind about the indices potentially slipping lower. But other than this particular area, really to be just paying attention to 50% here, and then down in this region here where the yellow lines are. And so far a nice rejection from that yesterday buy side. Now this is officially the beginning of the speech for Powell. So he's probably said as much as 2 words now, good morning. But as you can see, even before him speaking, lots of excitement in the marketplace, really just inspiring amateur traders to jump in, thinking that they're missing something. Maybe they weren't aware that he would be speaking at 9:05. So just seeing all of that volatility, all of the excitement, especially the run lower, right, finding support, pushing a new high. People are buying at the high here. Like I said, this was a perfect counterparty area for amateur traders to be willing to buy at a higher price, and then smart money selling to those buyers for the price run lower that should be happening here. So notice the 1 minute still finding support within that 5-minute inefficiency. But it should if it's going to slam lower while it's still in this consolidation area, right? It hasn't really left this range yet from around the 8:30 opening till right the highest high printed after the 9 o'clock set of news hits the market. So in between this range here, there's a lot of uncertainty. A lot of people still thinking it's buying. A lot of people still thinking it's selling. So there's a lot of liquidity being engineered inside of here. So for it to be sensitive at these different levels or different ranges, that just inspires, like I said, more liquidity to be introduced to the marketplace. So anytime it bounces off of, an area here, like there's an inefficiency here that you see, I don't have it marked up because it's not important to me. I got the 5-minute ones. But also how this low came here, right? It didn't make a lower low and price starts to run higher. The people are seeing that and pressing buy at this high right here, right? And so these are like rookie mistakes that I used to make all the time, and it just experience at the end of the day is the best teacher. It's really allowed me to see the markets a little bit more clearer, and then also learning how to manage myself in the midst of doing my analysis and taking transactions. It's a process that is complicated at first, but every single step of the way can be simplified, and it's also worth it at the end of the day. There's nothing like being able to control my own financial destiny. There's not a single human being on this planet that can determine how much I make when I'm trading. So it's that type of freedom is exactly what I needed to be able to do life the way that I want to do life. So it's enough of my rant there. Let's get back to price. Also, I want to look at the 5-minute. So seen on the 5-minute, hasn't officially closed below yet, but with there being less than a minute left and it's pretty heavy, I'm going to just go ahead and shade that higher one brown, indicating that it's been potentially flipped to now price reprices to this area. It could act as resistance, and then pretty much going to be the same story here if in the next 20 seconds, right, this candle does close below. And I'll just go ahead, it's less than 15 seconds, so I'll go ahead and shade that brown as well. Get back to the 1 minute here, got a nice little equal sign there, right? Come back over here at this layout, so I won't really color those because it doesn't matter. Noticing that it hasn't yet ran this low here. Also look at how this has dipped so much lower than this inefficiency here, but look at how the body is back in that range. And then it's just cool to see that where it did drop down to was this hourly inefficiency, where I said it would make sense if from here, if it was able to find support, right, it's able to run back higher. Staying where it's at right here is not enough for me though. I definitely need to see it make an effort to get above this purple line, get a body close above this purple line, and at least challenge the high so far of the week. That would be inspire a lot of confidence for my setup. And now looking over here, so that 5-minute did officially close below, so it's now repricing up to the lower one, right? So could be acting as resistance here. Also, I like that there was this high established, a low, a higher high, then price came and broke that low. So this area within here too, also a bearish breaker. And so since it's on the 1 minute, I'll use both of these. So I don't want to see a candle close above here, which it lines up beautifully with this this higher, right, 5-minute inefficiency. So, and it's about like that midpoint as well. So to be honest, I definitely wouldn't like the midpoint of the breaker to be breached either. So a wick through it is fine, right, because there is this 5-minute inefficiency, but candle close above the midpoint of this breaker, especially above the high of it, kind of invalidated it to me, especially with it being a 1-minute breaker, right? 1 minute ranges and levels aren't going to be as strong as the higher time frames. And so here we are 7 minutes in. All it really did was, right, some up and down, push the new high, right, push another low, retrace, and potentially going to see that continuation lower here, with the setup being, like I said, there's a breaker here and the two inverted 5-minute inefficiencies. So any sort of bullish momentum here, definitely problematic, not something that I want to see as far as what I'm looking for today. and I will be more than okay with calling it a day and moving back to the sidelines if, like I said, I do get a candle close above here. That's going to be it for me today as far as taking any transactions, and then I will just continue to tape read for a couple of hours, just doing my daily work, trying to get to that 10,000 hours of experience. And so now we have traded above that high early on as well in the minute, so that's usually not a good sign. There's no other reference points up here for me to really frame a reason for it to move lower from, except for maybe taking out this high and then rejecting lower, and then just scanning over here. So seeing that dollar was back within this range here, potentially to close in there and give a nice push higher to challenge the highs for the day, but instead, as you can see, it slipped back through it one more time, dropping back down potentially into this range. And again, with it happening early within an hour, right, digging down there, rejecting, doubling back. So we definitely want to see for sure this hour, if I'm going to change my mind and come back later and still look for the same play, right, definitely want to see this hour close within this range, and then that next one start screaming out of here just as quickly as this one drop down here. Once you don't quickly run up through this these purple lines and close above the high one. All right, so like I said, that's going to be it for the recording on my end. Price has invalidated the use of these inefficiencies and the breaker idea. It's a lot of volatility though with something like Jerome Powell speaking. So the markets, even though they haven't gone anywhere, as you can see, it's probably going to be a seek and destroy type of day, where it just runs highs, then runs lows, then runs highs, then runs lows. It never really goes anywhere. But ultimately, still looking for last week's low to be taken out sometime in the next couple of weeks. So with that being said, though, shout out to the believers. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.